And welcome back to the Fun Astrology Podcast for Monday, April 29th. We have another retrograde planet. Would you do that again? Yes, we're going backwards again on another major planet. So we're going to talk about that this morning. I hope you had a great weekend. We have quite a week ahead. This is going to set some dynamics that are going to carry out through the summer. All right, now we talked about, a week and a half ago when Pluto turned retrograde. Now remember, retrograde, if you're just new to astrology, is when a planet looks like it's going backward in the sky. It's the way that the Earth's sphere is seen on the elliptical line, and it's how you perceive the planets. Let's just say, without going into depth, look, this is all stuff that if you're interested in, then you can do a bunch of Google searching. The purpose of this podcast is just to point these things out, and then you can take off and explore on your own. And that's really the best way to learn astrology, is to just take a little something. So you can take Pluto, and then you can unravel what retrograde is all about, and how that affects Pluto, and how Pluto is normally, and Pluto through the signs, and Pluto through the houses, and now you can do it with Saturn. That's a great way to learn astrology. Just take it a little chunk at a time and eat the elephant one bite and one chew and one swallow at a time. It's a great way to do it. Okay, so Saturn is going backwards, starting tonight about 9 o'clock Eastern Time. I have to give credit where credit is due here. I want to read just a little section from the Astrology King blog. Jamie Partridge does one of the best jobs of blogging about astrology that is out there. He's not so technical that you can't understand it, yet he's deep enough that you get the real depth and understanding. So giving credit where credit is totally due, I think he had one of the best pieces on Saturn going retrograde, backward, that I've come across. So it starts tonight at 20 degrees Capricorn. Okay, now first of all, and this is not in the article, whenever a planet is going retrograde, you want to look at the degrees. We talked about degrees last week. That's where it is in the sign, 30 degrees per sign. So Saturn is turning retrograde at 20 degrees, 2/3 of the way. It's going to back up to 13 degrees. So as you look at the astrological chart, you're going to see Saturn moving backwards. It'll be at 19, 18, 17, all the way back to 13. So you can look at your chart, and if you have any planets in your natal, now this is your natal chart, your birth chart. If you have any planets at 20 degrees, you are going to feel the Saturn pull. You're going to feel the station where it stops and starts moving backwards. You're going to feel that process a little more in those areas of your life where those planets are, what planets they are, and where they are. So I'm not going to go in depth on this. I have 2 in my own chart, and I'm really reluctant to even go into that conversation because nobody can relate to somebody else's chart, especially if you're starting to look at astrology yourself. So just go look at your chart, and if you have planets at 20 degrees in any area of your chart, it will say right there by it, then that's an extra area that you're going to feel it. So if that happens to be in Mars, then you can kind of connect the dots of Mars and Saturn and put that together. But let's go to Jamie's article here from astrologyking.com. I definitely want to credit him for this because it's just good. So this is the story. Saturn is the lord of karma. Retrograde motion is a time when karma is sorted out. Therefore, Saturn retrograde is a double dose of karma. Karma is a form of energy that is very real. Like Saturn, it is very closely bound to time. So past, present, and future blur into one. If you've been bad in the past, then at a certain predestined time, an event will occur to teach you a lesson. Oh, if you do not understand what he's talking about there, I have a great audiobook that I narrated for Fred Dodson. It's called Lives of the Soul. And Fred explains all of this and puts our soul's journey in just such a wonderful perspective. And truly we are a spiritual being having a human experience, not the other way around. So when we look at our life in this way, it just helps you so sort out the chaos and you think about, why did something just come out of nowhere and slap me upside the head like this? What amazes me even more is that this kind of thing is graphically depicted in our astrological chart. It just blows my mind. That's why it is so worth studying and learning this technology of looking into our life. It is the instruction manual of life. Jamie goes on, if you have been good in the past, then at a predestined time an event will occur to reward you for your good deeds. With Saturn in retrograde motion, the karma will relate to how responsible you've been in the past. The lessons associated with Saturn Retrograde 2019 relate to your thoughts and words. It will be especially challenging if you have a history of teasing or verbally abusing people. Pessimism and indecision make this a difficult time for making important decisions. Saturn Direct 2019, that will happen in September, brings a much brighter outlook, especially for making important decisions about your home, family, and relationships. This could be a major positive transformation in your life. Now, the article goes on with much greater depth. If you want to look at it, just Google Astrology King Saturn Retrograde 2019. It'll pop right up. So to not keep these podcasts short, to not drag them out, we'll talk about more on Saturn retrograde tomorrow, and we might even spend a little extra time on this week, because there are some challenging aspects that we also need to talk about, but this one is so big and so center stage. So what are we talking about? Really, it's just an accentuation or a continuation of everything that I've been saying about this alignment of Saturn, the South Node, which we haven't even talked about that. Saturn and the South Node are conjunct right now. They're sitting right on top of each other, both at 20 degrees, and the minutes are almost identical as well. So they are right there. Even as you're listening to this, they are almost right on top of each other, literally. So this is all about us dealing with our past. And as I've said, there is no better time, no better opportunity, no better alignment. There never will be, probably, for most of the people alive on Earth right now, to deal with it like we've been given this gift. This is so rare for us to do this work. So what do? Conscious awareness. You become alert and aware to what is going on, and you work with that energy. And I'm just feeling motivated to do some extra podcasts, so I'll stack some stuff in here, I think, this week that we'll talk about this some more. So let's let that be enough for now. You can do some research on this, but this is a really big deal. With Saturn sitting on top of the South Node and Pluto all in both, well, yeah, they all are, because the nodes are always in retrograde. Wow, what a time to turn the spotlight inside and do the work. The time is now. And I'm so glad that we're sharing this time and space together so that you are fully aware of it. Woo. Wonder how it'll feel for you today. I'd be really curious. We'll talk more about it tomorrow. Have a great one. Thanks for listening to the little extra time here. Have a good Saturn retrograde, my friends.